Welcome back to Just Talking. We have a great show for you today. Why? Because we have some great co-owners of a publishing company called Clay Urn Publishing, and that's Ed Ayllon and Shannon Vierra. Thank you, Ed and Shannon, for talking to us today.
Yeah, thanks for having
Yeah,
us.
thanks for having us. Yeah.
All right, well, let's start it off. What is Clay Urn Publishing?
Yeah, so Clay Urn Publishing is it's a publishing imprint that we started ourselves because we're authors as well. We co-write a dark fantasy series called The Chimera Snare. And as we were gearing up to, just get our first book out there, we kind of we were mulling around like exactly how we wanted to do it, whether it was traditionally or independent, and so we just kind of came to the conclusion that we just wanted to maintain 100% creative control and oversight over the entire project that we're working on because it's very near and dear to us, and so yeah, that led us to just creating the imprint. And so it's more or less still it's very much in its infancy. It's just it's just the two of us that are officially on the roster, so to speak. Um, but yeah, it is the home that we made for our series, and and it's you could think of it like a boutique kind of a publishing company at this point. And as we are essentially weathering the storm with figuring out the ins and outs on how to make it run effectively and do right by authors that we do intend to like bring others into the house as well to publish other works.
Shannon, what made you get started into writing publications? Writing.
I've always had, a knack for writing, honestly. I used to do like little short stories and illustrations back as far as I can remember as like, like 7, 8 years old. And it's just always been I mean, I've always had kind of like a creative outlet in the arts, either writing or in drawing. So I guess it kind of followed me a bit. It did go away for a little while, in high school, but pretty much after high school, it just kind of reignited again. And so, the Chimera Snare, that dark fantasy series, yeah, it all kind of spurned from that, and yeah.
Well, let's talk about this dark fantasy series. How did this get started? What was the
Yeah.
brainchild of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, so for me, I had the concept for like a few of the main characters bouncing around with me throughout high school, and I kind of like left it all behind because I went straight into working pretty much right after high school, and it was in my early 20s when I had this pretty awesome daydream to a band named Agalok, and it essentially created like this depth between these characters that didn't exist. And originally, I really just wanted to try to do an animation that would kind of follow along with a music track. And I realized I would have to go to school to do that. And it would probably take a team, larger than myself to kind of complete that. So, with that in mind, and just thinking that there was a bigger story to kind of tell, to start to build this world that I was seeing visually, I knew I wanted to write this, to make it into a full-fledged novel, which was an incredible undertaking, quite honestly. In the beginning, yeah.
There's a first initial version of the first book of the series titled Fragments that Shannon published on her own, kind of under the radar in 2015, and that's around the time that we got together. We're now married at this point.
Oh,
And so it wasn't until 2017 when she began work on the second book, and at that point she was kind of bouncing ideas off of or just kind of bouncing ideas off of me, and I gave my 2 cents and whatnot, and then from that point it kind of snowballed into like a full-blown collaboration between the two of us, and we wrote the second book together from the ground up. And when we had gotten to the end point of that phase, as we look back on everything that we created together and how much the universe overall had expanded so much, we went back to the first book, Fragments, and rewrote it from the ground up between the two of us. So that way it became in line with everything that we created together, and so that's where we're at right now.
Now, Ed, you're an author prior to all this as well, and how did you get involved in writing?
It's all Shannon's fault. She made it. She was the one that made the author out of me. But uh, but that's not to say that I wasn't interested in writing to begin with. I definitely enjoyed creative writing. Definitely got into it like more in my high school years. But did like smaller things, like smaller short stories, sort of memoirs kind of style things. I had experience, some summarizing like interviews and stuff like that. So the uh, the technical side of it was very much there, but I never really occurred to me to just go and write a full-fledged novel. So yeah, really wasn't until our collaboration began. That's essentially where my first foray into into being an author began.
Well, then did you guys meet like at an author convention or it was
We've
a,
actually known each other since we were 13, since we were in high school.
Yeah,
Yeah, our
okay.
lives, like we were friends, and then our lives, went in different directions, and it came back together in our like late 20s, early 30s,
late 20s. Yeah,
late
yeah.
20s.
So this series sounds like it was a pretty popular one. What was the reaction from the public when they were reading these books?
Yeah, so far we've had a really great response to Fragments. It's only been out for coming up on a year and a half because we published it in August 2024.
On
And
our
since
wedding anniversary.
on our wedding anniversary at that, because we're a couple of
Yeah,
dorks.
comes closer.
Yeah, but since then, we've just been kind of putting ourselves out there at various author events and different markets. Just trying to connect with readers and just seeing where we can find our audience, so to speak. And so far, everybody that's dug into the story has they've had great things to say. So we're pretty gratified with that, and so we at least see that we're doing something right, just with all the feedback that we've seen come our way. So
And I like when you told me that you self-publish because maybe if you sent it to another publisher, it wouldn't be the same book when it gets published.
That's exactly it.
yeah,
Because when we were while we were wrapping up the final manuscript for this revised version of Fragments, we had done our due diligence to kind of see out there, what these different publishing houses may or may not like want from you. And as an author, you have to decide to what is it of yourself that you're going to give away in exchange, if you will. And we've had horror stories from friends that we've known, other authors as well, and their experiences led me to kind of see how much of a commodity, like a consumable commodity, that like writing or just art in general becomes. And I mean, we're all human, we all take time to do things, and to me, I had the vision to release the Chimera Snare with the reverence and like that it deserves. It is a form of art, of course. So and even is like it's just having us like maintain the overall like control of the project, because I mean, even certain publishing houses can dictate what you put on the cover. And I always say whenever we come across this conversation that like I have a day job that tells me what to do, and this is my passion, our passion, and I don't want anyone to tell me what to do.
You talked about not only are you publish your own books, but are you accepting other authors you were mentioning? And if so, they probably have to be in line on what you're doing, I would think, or let's hear
Yeah,
your,
the definitely the goal is to welcome other authors into the fold. And currently we're still weathering the storm with just the climate itself, what it takes
Mhm.
to like I guess from like the legal standpoint, and just the back end matter, we're still kind of figuring that out while we're dealing with our release, essentially. Because the for us the goal would be to be like a hybrid publisher, because I think that's just the format that's going to work best for us, since we're small and independent at this particular point. But you definitely like we would want to bring others into the house that do fit that same criteria as well. We're not asking for folks to write within a box for us. We're, asking for folks who are, truly passionate about the story that they're writing, and are wanting to tell the story that they want to tell the way they want to tell it.
I was looking on the websites, talked about the Project Live On. Maybe you can talk about that and how that got started.
Well, yeah, Project Live On kind of came from this, well, kind of evolved from the idea of, well, Shannon's a big gardener, and she's kind of obsessive in some ways. And so when we started, when we got the first book out there, uh, and whenever we wanted to, like whenever we were sending out packages to people who ordered a copy, or anybody that we encounter in person at various book fairs and stuff like that. Uh, she had the idea of including this seed card. It's a handmade seed card of like handmade paper that has seeds of like they're essentially flowers, and and she hand stamps them herself. And so the idea was to um, kind of bring this idea of fostering creativity for people. Because I'm kind of of the belief that anybody can create. Everybody has the capacity to create, but not everybody may know like where to start, or how to latch on to like inspiration, or where to find it for that matter. So the idea was to give these little seed cards to people to then plant, and then in time when the growing season comes around, they can sprout flowers. And in that sense, we kind of envision like maybe that some sort of inspiration or some sort of spark can find somebody once something like sprouts from this thing that you kind of laid in the ground. Like when you kind of visualize, something that you can create, like, hey, maybe I can do something else. So
All right. And then there was a RAFB project.
That's our favorite one. It's
yeah.
that one is actually quite new for us as well, because
Mhm.
the project itself started from when we would attend these non-literary events. So non-literary focused, it would just be, like local crafters and other folks that are doing their thing. And we'll have folks stop at our table and they're like, wow, this is really great, but I don't read. And it was I know the sentiment, because I think it's just finding the time to do it, and like life gets kind of crazy. But it was I guess from there we started making the stickers to gently encourage literacy. So it was read a expletive book. That's what the RAFB stands for. And then in a world now like where AI is kind of out there pretty rampant, and we definitely took a stand on this already, which is we don't condone the use of AI in any creative works, whether it be writing or art. The AI art thing, I always quote that because it's not art. But the project then evolved to give some spotlight to these artists that we've connected with throughout our journeys, to promote their art while also promoting literacy too. And yeah, so far I think we have 4 people that we've worked with. And
Yep.
there's more in the timeline, because the goal is for us is to work with one new artist a month. And and to also afford to do the project as well. That's why it's just the one for now. But just to give them, just to see their take on what the project could mean to them and how they want to communicate that, whether it's just through their own style, whether they want to give it like a background meaning by the visual,
Mhm.
things of that nature. So it's just turned into this really full-blown collaborative effort in another way, and I'm really happy with that.
I believe you have an area on the website talking about events. What events do you go to get the word out?
There's quite a few that we, well, because a lot of the literary events, you have to kind of know about this several years in advance in most cases. So for us, we started off doing a lot of local events with a really cool alliance called Streets Arts Alliance. They focus a lot of shows like in Chicago area. Studio Moonfall, which is actually right in Kenosha.
Oh.
They're an awesome bookshop with other cool curiosities, and they're dedicated to indie authors and such. And they do host it's like during the spring and summer a monthly like book fest. So we've
Mhm.
attended that as well. We've done Harbor Market with Studio Moonfall as well. We've done Printers Row Lit Fest. We've done horror like conventions because the nice thing about our genre is since dark fantasy kind of I would consider, I mean it's a subgenre of fantasy, but we have multi-genral touch points, so we kind of have a little bit of overlap in a lot of areas that we can use to our advantage, I would say. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Studio Moonfall, Donovan. Yeah, he does some great things in the community, and
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Donovan's awesome. He was, I think, our
he's
first
awesome.
lifeline when we were just, I mean, naturally being like an author, you kind of hermit yourself for a while where you're writing, and that was us when we, moved to the area. And then so it's not only is this like a new area for us in general,
Mhm.
we didn't really know many people, but then also trying to, pitch your idea or your work to any like to bookstores, it is kind of it's daunting and it's a little scary, or for me it's very scary. And Donovan's he's such a great person, and he has a trove of information, and he doesn't gatekeep, and that's I think one of the biggest things that I respect about him. Because when you're coming into a new environment and you're learning, it helps to have someone help you as well instead of just kind of shut the gate and just be like, well, you figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
And we've experienced that quite a bit um, in other places, but just definitely not with Donovan. So.
let's hear. So if people want to learn more about Clay Urn Publishing, where should they go to?
Yeah, we make it pretty easy. We have our a website, just simply clayurnpublishing.com. And from there you can read up uh on our essentially our mission with Clay Urn Publishing, our various projects as well, the Project Live On, the RAFB as well. Like they're all links to there to everything that we have going on, as well as that's where we have our web shop as well for if anybody was interested in a copy of the book or any of the swag that we offer with it as well. It's on there. Um, and we have a separate website for our series, the chimerasnera.com. That's where you can find more kind of focused information on the series itself, and a little bit about who we are as well.
I congratulate you on such an excellent publishing company and your works that you have out there as well. So please log on and check out their website. It's a great again publishing company, and we want to thank Ed and Shannon for coming on down. Thanks for talking to us today.
Yeah,
Thank
pleasure.
you so
Thank you
much,
for having us.
Jason.